What is up, guys? Welcome to the Gold Star Podcast, a collector's podcast where we talk about all things Pokemon card related. Myself and the Bearded Trainer 2 over here holding up our brand new Gold Star Podcast custom Pokemon card. Welcome you to the show. Today we've got a fun one for you. We're going to talk a slight bit about Vivid Voltage news that most of you probably heard, but we're going to go ahead and touch up on it. Some new product reveal stuff for that. But then the meat of our conversation today is stemming from a big conversation that got brought up in our Discord this week, link in the description below, about investing in Pokemon cards, what it takes, what are signs that you need to look for investing and all that. We're going to dive into all those investing tips, tricks, questions, stuff like that today about what it takes to invest in Pokemon cards and stuff like that. But before we do, Bearded Trainer, is a cool announcement for you. What you got for us, Austin?
So if you are following along with my Instagram and any of the Facebook pages that we're in, I decided that I'm doing a trade up for charity challenge. So I am starting with one card. I'm making 10 trades, and on that 10th trade, I auction off the card. Whatever I make off that, I'm donating to a charity that's here in my hometown. So I started out with a PSA 10 Japanese Suicune from the Team Rocket, but it's the Japanese equivalent one. Traded for a Japanese Rayquaza, and now current card up for trade is this PSA 8 EX Ruby Sapphire Mewtwo.
Gorgeous
which
card.
Current value is 165. So if you would like to trade and get a part of this, hit me up on Instagram at the Bearded Trainer 2. It is below under my picture.
Yep.
Check it out. Message me, and remember, it has to be higher value than this because the goal is to get the highest valued card to auction off for charity. So
going for a great cause.
Hit me up.
Yes, please go take part of that. It's an awesome thing that Austin is doing. Two quick plugs. You may notice we have a new look this week. Shout out to my man Majin Busha for hooking us up with these awesome graphics. He's an awesome dude, very giving and kind, and has really took some time out of his day to make us some new layouts, make us look a little more professional. So shout out to my dude Majin. You were the best. I love you. So thank you for hooking us up with a cleaner look for the Gold Star Podcast. I hope you guys enjoy it. We really like it. One other thing, I'm officially the admin of the one of the admins of the PokeHive Community Marketplace Facebook group. I'll put a picture of it on here. Go search that if you're on Facebook. Join it. It's a fantastic, safe place. You can buy, sell, trade, participate in razzes or raffles. There's lots of giveaways and all that kinds of stuff. My man Cole, the owner, his Instagram is the PokeHive. You may have seen me buy a really nice Lugia card from him recently in my videos. He kind of runs it, and I have kind of stepped on to help him out with that a little bit. So go join our Facebook group there. It's an awesome group, and we would love for you to join. Now, without all the plugs that we just got through, couple things for Vivid Voltage. We have pack arts, we have booster box arts, ETB arts, we have all kinds of product art for Vivid Voltage. So we're going to jump over here to the monitor and check this stuff out real quick. Vivid Voltage is coming out in November. It is our winter set following Champion's Path. You can see kind of the booster box here with Gigantamax, Fat Pikachu, and Zarude. Here's all your pack arts. You got the Celebi Amazing Rare. You can kind of see like they're hinting at the Amazing Rares with the color art behind this. Your theme decks, you have a Dreadnought and a Charizard theme deck. I'm a big fan of this Charizard one because the card in it has Leon, and I'm a big fan of whenever the Pokemon Company mixes kind of trainers from the games and show. I think that's a really cool touch. I mentioned how much I like that kind of from Cosmic Eclipse in Wednesday's video. Here's your little 3-pack blisters. You got a really awesome looking Vaporeon promo. I'm a big fan of that. The Sobble is also awesome. Austin, you're a big fan of the Sobble, aren't you?
Yeah, I like Sobble.
I meant like the promo card.
The promo card, yes. However, I do like how if you look at even the single pack blisters, how they've added all the starter Pokemon are in the background of each one, which is kind of cool how they've incorporated that. The artwork is starting to get pretty good on these cards.
Yeah, so this is all cool. Here you can see your Elite Trainer box. We've seen this already with the Fat Pikachu on it, which I love. That's kind of awesome. Again, it's Gigantamax Pikachu from the video game, but it's very much a throwback to kind of the original. Here's all your contents and stuff. Here are your pre-release build-a battle kits. There you go, with Zarude on the front. Zarude is the new mythical Pokemon coming out in the DLC. So there you have him, your little binder. Here we have confirmation. We'll go ahead and read this. You have 6 amazing Pokemon. So they are confirming amazing rares in this set, which is what we were expecting. 6 amazing Pokemon. We are assuming they are the 6 we have seen in Legendary Heartbeat. We have not seen anything otherwise. So I'm assuming that's what is going on there. The 6 of those. 6 Pokemon VMAX is what we have so far. This isn't final. This is just information we have compiled so far. 11 Pokemon V, 13 Full Art V, 16 trainer cards, 7 Full Art Sporters, 4 new special energy cards, over 185 cards. So pretty decent sized set. 11 powerful Pokemon, 6 enormous Pokemon. So this is all the information they've given us so far, and here we have our Charizard and Pikachu lunchbox, which is
it's awesome.
Cool.
It's
very cool.
A really good collector's chest, I believe is what they call them. So if you're one of those guys or gals that is a sealed collector, honestly, it's a good one to add to the set, and it makes any kind of display you have look even better because of the Gigantamax Pikachu and the Charizard that's on the tin.
Very cool. So that is everything we have on Vivid Voltage so far. Lots of information, actually. It concerns me a little bit, just a little tidbit. We are getting all this information on Vivid Voltage and all this confirmation of stuff and all that. We still do not have confirmation as of recording this on Thursday night of a Rainbow Charizard in Champion's Path, or really much of anything about Champion's Path. So that is concerning me a little bit, that we may not get it. Again, it doesn't really make sense if they're putting it on the cover of the ETB, but it is odd that it comes out in roughly 20 days now, and we still don't have confirmation of a Rainbow Charizard if we're getting it, which I feel like we would normally have some kind of confirmation by this point. So that's a little troublesome.
I've also read too that there's a couple people that don't even think that it's even supposed to be in that set. They're trying to figure out where people are getting it, and my opinion is we've seen it on the Elite. It's on the Elite Trade.
It makes no sense to market it, other than the fact that Gigantamax Charizard is Leon's main Pokemon, and Leon, like, it's Champion's Path focused around all the gym leaders. So that kind of makes sense. But again, why would they advertise it if it wasn't in the set?
I think it would be cool. I mean, it's called Champion's Path. If you've played the video game and my theory would be that the Pokemon, the VMAX Pokemon, would honestly be each gym leader's strongest Pokemon, or something to do with them.
You have like the Dreadnought and stuff like that. We know and the Alchemy is in the gyms as well. So you do have some of those going on, but it's a little troublesome that we don't have confirmation of the Charizard yet. Not saying we're not getting it, but we are getting down to 20 days now, and that's kind of weird. So heads up there. Quick tidbit about Champion's Path as well. We have all this information about Vivid Voltage, but not about that set. So that's kind of weird.
It is very scary.
All right, so jumping into our main conversation today, we said it's going to be all about investing. So in our Discord the other day, it came, like, we started talking about investing in Pokemon cards. There's a request to make an investing channel in our Discord. Again, please, quick plug, join the Discord. Link's always in the description below. Great community, great place to hang out and talk, ask questions, whatever you want. We're very active in there every single day throughout the day. We're answering people's questions and talking and stuff. But there was a request to make like an investing channel, and so we did, and we're starting to talk about investing. There are a lot of new people in our community, especially in this year in general. A lot of people have come back with Hidden Fates and the just Sword and Shield and stuff like that. There's been a lot of new people introduced. The hobby is obviously taking off. People are starting to recognize that, so there's a lot of people coming back from their childhood and wanting to know where to start. And a lot of people like Austin and I, they want to get involved in the investing side of things, and there's a lot of questions regarding that. Prefacing this by saying we are not experts. We do not claim to be experts. However, we do have some experience in this hobby. We have some success with investing and selling and stuff like that in this hobby. We're both invested pretty heavily in Pokemon, so we do have an idea of what we're talking about. But again, please take what we say with, your own caution or grain of salt, whatever you want to do, take it how you will. But this is two guys coming together as collectors and friends and sharing what we know and what we believe to be true with you guys. So that's kind of the preface here with this conversation. So we're going to kind of ping pong this back and forth a little bit with tips, tricks, and things that we believed are true. So when it comes to investing Pokemon, I talked about this a little bit with Cosmic Eclipse in Wednesday's video, and I dove in saying that I think Cosmic Eclipse is very underrated because it's very cheap right now. there are a lot of unique and collectible and rare cards in that set that are unique to that set and nothing else. There's a Charizard in that set, and stuff like that makes things investable. First and foremost with Pokemon, if it has Charizard in the set, you can invest in it. It's a pretty safe investment that's always going to go up. I believe, Austin, you're saying is if you have a Charizard, grade it. Go ahead.
Anytime someone asks me, should I get this graded? And if they send me a picture of the card and it's got Charizard on it, my answer is always yes. Charizard equals grade. If you're one of those people, and again, you can collect however you want to collect. If you followed along with our podcasts and channels, we've always preached, collect what you want to collect how you want to collect, whether it's graded, miscut, certain types, anything you want to collect, go for it. But if you're somebody that wants to invest as far as graded cards, and you're always asking, should I get this graded? If it's a Charizard, I 100% say yes, because even the lower Charizard cards that you can buy for $10, $20, graded are going to at least double their value and then go up from there because of its popularity. We've talked, I think, before we started recording this, and many times before, I think we know that there's 3 things to look for when what to invest in. Number 1 being popularity, I believe.
Yes.
If the Pokemon is popular, you can invest in it.
Yes, absolutely.
Evolutions, Charizard,
Mewtwo.
What a Pikachu, Mewtwo, Mew, Eevee by himself, not even the evolutions, just Eevee by himself.
Umbreon and Espeon are big. Like pretty much any of the evolutions. Leafeon and Glaceon are kind of out there, but you can't include them.
Believe it or not, and this is like one of those little hidden gems that I've started to realize too, but like Vulpix is also a very, because of Ninetales,
right,
is a very popular Pokemon. So
Lugia.
Number 1, Lugia, legendary Pokemon in general. Yeah. Some of them are more popular than others, but not even in Pokemon, in anything that you collect in, anything that has legend or god or king, like they're the top person, like normally those are safe to invest in.
That's why we talked about like Mewtwo and Lugia. Those are arguably the 2 most popular legendary Pokemon ever. You can get into like Arceus, Dialga, Palkia have kind of like with Cosmic Eclipse we talked about in Wednesday's video, that Coliseum card. They may not be the most popular legendaries up to now because they are fairly newer. I think a lot of the kids that grew up with that generation, with Gen 4, will probably like ADP a lot more than kind of some of like maybe the older generation, but they're rising popularity. So like the dogs, the original dogs from Gold and Silver, Raikou, Entei, and Suicune are really big ones. So popularity and stuff like that, like you're saying, is key.
Which is why, if you've watched Colin's video on like Cosmic Eclipse or anybody, or if you take anything from what we're saying, if it's popular and the card is cheap, buy it now and sit on it, because the cards are going up. For instance, I think you touched on it in your Cosmic Eclipse, that alternate art of ADP was what, $30?
I bought it for $20 in March, and it's
now
up over sitting
50, right?
TCG Player, you can get it for like 50 to 60. eBay, but you can't see what it looks like. eBay, you're looking at like between 70 and 90, some even hitting $100. And
so that's just,
I bought that card for $25 because I was like, this card looks incredible. The set's incredible. And I said going in, that card is going to raise in value, and it blew my mind. That was only $25, and here we are. Now it's been 6 months, which is actually a very short time to sit on a card, but here we are. Greninja is another one I've preached on. Greninja has been voted number 1 most popular Pokemon, I believe, 3 years in a row now, by the people, not by Pokemon, by the people. Fans have voted, and Greninja has been the number 1 most popular Pokemon, which is a very cool Pokemon, rightfully so. But 3 years in a row, and whenever Hidden Fates came out, Greninja was selling for $10. And that blew my mind, knowing how popular Greninja is, especially with the younger audience. And here we are now, Greninja's like 40, 50, $60.
And what's crazy is that's one of the harder ones, I think, to pull out of the Shiny Vault, too. But the popularity of the Pokemon does hit. I know we've hit on it a bunch. If you're in our groups, we've talked about it, but like the character cards. If in Cosmic Eclipse, if you played the game growing up as a kid, you watched the anime, like how could you not like the Pikachu card? Where Red, Ash, aka whoever you want to
The
name
main
him.
character.
But the main character is in Professor Oak's lab, like
Choosing Pikachu.
choosing Pikachu. Like that art right there. It's a cheap card right now.
Yep.
It was cheaper. It's going up. It's not going up as fast as you would think, but it's one of those
Well, I
cards
think it
that
was
you
widely
see it.
available. It wasn't as rare as some of the other cards, so it is widely
Correct.
available. But that will
Correct. But it's
probably
one of
go
those
up.
that you're slowly seeing it kind of go up. So if
Mm.
you have them and you want to grade some, I would say grade them now. Keep very good care of that card because that's one of those it's going up, and we've seen it, and you've preached on it on some of your videos on some of those cards, like the Blastoise Hyper Rare.
I missed the ball on that. Blastoise is so starter Pokemon. We go and mention that starter the original big three starters, and some of the others. Like eventually, all starter Pokemon are gonna like just in general, they're fan favorites for the most part. If you get to like Emboar and Empoleon stuff like that, nobody likes them. But you know what I mean.
Nope.
Like the big three, the Gen 2s, the Gen 3s, those are all popular. Like the Blastoise GX from Unbroken Bonds. I missed the ball on that. It was the second rarest card in Unbroken Bonds. It was the second rarest. Now Unbroken Bonds is out of print. That card was like $20-$30. It is now $70 to $90, and a PSA 10 is $500.
Yep.
So I bit the bullet and had to pay $75 for one in good shape, and I think it's going to get 10, which is awesome. But I could have gotten it for 30 if I would have invested early enough. You just got to be looking for those things.
What's crazy though is, you know why that happened is because people got that set and they were like, "Oh, Charizard card."
Yes,
Charizard
it's
card.
all stemmed from a Charizard.
Charizard card. So you need to look. So another one that we're hitting on now, like in our Discord, we're telling people to go for evolutions. So that set was printed into the ground, but it's starting to kind of weed out a little bit.
Starting to see
it
creep up.
Like you got cards like this,
the Blastoise, Venusaur, and Charizard full art.
The Charizard. Now I'm not talking. I could go back behind me because I have
the
some.
hollow
I have
one.
The reverse hollow and the normal hollow.
Those are good
which is great. They're good ones. Those are great. Those are obviously no brainers are going to go up too.
They're already going up.
The three that are like this, the Mega Charizard, the Mega,
which are actually more rare. The Mega Charizard Full Art is the rarest card in the set, and it's still valued lower than the hollow one. Now I get it.
Correct.
The hollow one is nostalgic. It's hard to grade and stuff, but you're about to see the Megas, the Full Arts, the Blastoise, CSL, the Venusaur, and the Charizard. We're seeing those start to creep up a little bit as well. The Venusaur and Blastoise are still really cheap, but I would not be surprised to see those start creeping up in value here in time. So that's popularity is a really big one.
Yep. I think that is a good one to bounce off for point number 2 is nostalgia.
Yep.
I think that has a big play on like what to invest in. Which again is why I think the Pokemon Company printed evolutions into the ground.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
a lot of people like yourself, myself, that maybe have gotten out of the game. They reprinted, and Evolutions is literally a remake of base set with little tweaks, introducing the Mega cards. The EX cards, the Mega Evolutions, and then little tweaks like the reverse hollows, the fact that like Nidoking is a poison, not a grass type.
Yeah.
Little changes, and then adding like the full art trainers, but bare minimum, strip away everything. It's literally base set. So somebody like me who's been out forever comes back in and sees a set that's affordable that I can get that literally just makes me sit back and think when I was a kid going to the corner store, buying a pack for $2 or $3 and pulling these cards. Now you're being able to pull them again, and you're not having to go to eBay and spend hundreds of dollars to buy a base set. You can get an Evolutions base set Charizard or stuff like that. So I believe nostalgia does play a big role on investment part. And even after a while, these cards are definitely going to start going up in price. They're going up slowly now, but I give it a couple of years from now, these evolution cards, buy them now while they're cheap, because in the future they're going to be worth quite a bit of money.
Right. Number 3 will go is rarity. Rarity is obviously a big one. You can investing in common, uncommon Charmanders isn't going to net you a ton of profit later on. Maybe like the really old like base sets, Shadowless first edition or something, because they're common. Like, so rarity, you want your Charizard's really rare. You have trophy cards and like promos that are never going to be available again aren't bad. There's like I said, trophy cards, promos, and just the rarest, the chase cards in every set. Every set has chase cards. Those are always going to be top ones to invest in. Right now, like Zacian and Zamazenta, for example, are just come to mind recently. Those are like the rarest cards in like Sword and Shield. They may right now, I mean, they already put Sword and Shield base out of print, which is weird. So they are a little high up there. Like those are really solid to invest in because they were the first gold cards ever of that kind for the gold Pokemon to have like the full art, but have the gold sparkly borders and stuff. They look fantastic. They were the rarest cards in that set. And while Zacian and Zamazenta are brand new and may not be the most popular Pokemon in the world yet because they're brand new, like those are solid cards to probably invest in because down the line, like they're the rarest cards in the first Sword and Shield base set. Like we go through eras. Like we have the XY era, the EX era, the Sun and Moon era. Like they are going to be the first rarest cards in the Sword and Shield era, first big gold cards like that and everything like that. So those are like rarity. I've gone back. We talked about the Blastoise. That was the second rarest card in Unbroken Bonds. The Lugia from Lost Thunder, freaking expensive right now, and it was
super cheap.
It was like $20 or $30, but now it's we're realizing it's impossible to get a 10 in that card because they look like trash because they're so off-centered. But like the 10 in the Lost Thunder Lugia last sold for $500 on eBay. And right now you're looking at like $70 raw, whereas if you would have gotten into it when the set was still in print, you were looking at like $25 to $30. So it was the rarest. It's a popular Pokemon. That was the chase card though. The Rayquaza from Celestial Storm, $60 or $70 now, was a lot cheaper. That was the rarest card in Celestial Storm. So you can go down the list, and I mean, obviously the chase cards, the rarest cards in every set. The more rare they are, if you get into vintage stuff, like Skyridge cards, for example, that's my favorite set of all time. Skyridge cards are very rare. Like it doesn't matter what holo you have in that. Some of them are a little bit more, but they're rare. So you get into the vintage side of things, and the more rare, like Skyridge is one of the rarest sets out there. Like those are all very good. Literally any holo card from that set is insanely rare or solid to invest in. They're only going to keep going up. Aquapolis is another one. Like, so you get into some of these vintage rare sets, Aquapolis, Holland Phantoms, Gold Star cards.
Vintage is hard to do, but if you can do it, because I'm currently in the middle of trying to complete a first edition Team Rocket. It has been super easy, but also super hard because the bigger cards are so expensive. And one thing I want to hit on there, to not give up on certain things, because what era was it? It was like 2003, 2004.
Where Pokemon just crapped the bed.
Yes.
We're talking about. We were in the EX era. It was one of the lowest eras ever for Pokemon. Prices were really low, and now look at them.
Some of those cards are the most expensive cards to get. And the thing is, if I could jump back in time and put money on anything, it would be those cards if I would know now what they are, because
they look amazing.
They do. They're awesome. I wish some of the artwork would go back to that type of artwork, but they are some of the most expensive cards to try to get your hands on. But if you think about it, back in the day, when those cards were coming out, they were dirt cheap and nobody did anything about it.
Pokemon was a low point. And right now we're on a high in the market. Yes. Like Pokemon's doing this. Every market has dips. So things will probably dip. Don't get discouraged. Like I said, now things are just going to get more expensive. I don't know if I would necessarily go out and buy like a Shiny Charizard right this second because they're about really high. You might be able to wait just a little bit on that one until a dip comes around. But man, like vintage cards are a big thing you can get into. It is expensive, but most of them are. You don't have to go out and buy the most expensive card you see on eBay. You can wait for deals. That's another, like, be patient. That's one of the biggest tips. I got into trouble with that a little bit early on into this, as I was like, I have to have this card, and I would say like, today I'm buying this card, I don't care, and I would get screwed, and then I'd look the next week and I could have gotten it for $100 cheaper. I've gotten a lot of deals by sitting and waiting. One of them you'll actually see in my mail day video this weekend that's going up after this. There's a PSA slab in there that I really wanted to buy like months ago, and I probably would have spent what I bought. It's a Skyridge card or a Aquapolis card. I probably would have spent what I spent like on this grade on a raw card if I would have bought it exactly when I wanted to, but I waited around and got a really good deal from a friend of mine who's helping me out. So if you be patient with these things, don't go out and buy. This isn't Pokemon, but like right now I'm looking at like Luka Doncic's rookie cards and you have to be patient. You just can't buy the one that shoots up to $700 on eBay immediately. You have to be patient. Like that's something that you can't preach enough with this is be patient, wait for the right deal, or else you're not going to make money. The people who are making money of this are the people I look up to, like people like PokeRev and Gary V. A lot of people. Gary V is new to the set. If you don't know who he is, he's one of the youngest, like richest people in the world right now, and he is heavily involved in sports and Pokemon cards, just trading cards in general. He's one of the biggest, like most influential entrepreneurs of our time. So I think he's 44 and just loaded out of his mind. But he is preaching trading cards right now, and he is one of the big people driving this market. But I watch him religiously because he has been so successful, and something that he said the other day that drove me in this hobby a little bit and inspired me to keep going and maybe take plunges into stuff I wouldn't necessarily have done before is he was talking about how he thinks trading cards are going to be remembered kind of as how like classic art is now, because they are a major form of art, like really art in today's society, or like trading cards. And some people may listen to that and laugh, but a very large portion of the population that is in this hobby disagrees, and they like it is they are art. And one thing he said in his talk, in his Tea with Gary V video the other day, was today's young entrepreneurs, they're going to be successful, are the ones who can figure out how to make an extra $1,000 a month flipping cardboard. And that's, if you're going to invest, that's something you have to grasp, is how can I take buying this collection or buying this card at the right price or getting in early enough and realizing which cards are going to be valuable down the line and flipping them and eventually being able to make that extra $100 off of it, eventually being able to make that extra $1,000 a month, which I've had some success with lately. I know you have too, a little bit. And so you just have to learn to realize where your striking point is, like when you're going to pounce on something that you can make money off of, and learn what you can flip if you're going to get into the investing. So we're not talking about collecting, we're talking about investing. And
a big point to caveat off of what you just said, because I feel like this is a good point to insert this. Don't be that person that thinks you're going to get a home run on one deal. You're not going to buy a card or a set and then flip it for hundreds of thousands of dollars in one day.
Yes, this isn't, and you have to be, that never happens.
I hate the saying because I was in sports as a kid. I hate the saying because it's so true, but it's not a sprint. Like it's a race.
It's a marathon.
It's a marathon. It's a long distance thing. Yes, you're going to have days where like you find this deal, or you're at a garage sale and you find this binder, and then you're like, oh, boom, flip it for a couple hundred. That's great. But if it doesn't happen every day or every week or every month, don't get down on yourself. It's not going to work. It's a long, steady process.
Some of these cards you're going to be sitting on for a while.
If you do it the right way, you're going to see it pay out in the end, and it's going to help, especially if you're a part of a good community that'll help you out and kind of point you in the right direction. So don't come into this hobby thinking you're going to hit a home run on your first day, but also don't get discouraged if you don't on the first day either. It's going to take a bit.
Right.
It's just one of those things. It's you're going to have to try to find your footing in it and go from there.
Patience is key, and that's investing in anything. You don't invest in the stock market and then expect to like flip it the next day. That's Pokemon's the same way. You're literally investing in, this is like a form of stock, is a good way to think of it. Is that some of these cards you're going to be sitting on for a long time. Sometimes you can find someone, like you said, selling you their base set Charizard for $10 that they found in their binder, and the kid, you turn around and sell it for $300. That's awesome. That doesn't happen every day. Like a lot of these take time and sitting on them. Like the good investments, we're talking about investing in 2020. Like some of the things you can do is invest in. I have like Unbroken Bonds booster box over here that I bought for $170. And yes, you have them too.
That giant stack of Funko Pops over there. Yes, it's a very awesome collection, but it's also an investment.
Yes.
They're staying sealed. They're worth quite a bit. I've got sealed stuff back here, and trust me, it kills us not to go crack them open. But in the long run, we know that they're going to be worth more, and we're investing our time into it. So it's one of those like give and take kind of things. Right. You're going to have to put time and effort into it.
That's good. Let's lead into sealed product was the next thing I wanted to hit on. We did kind of just
Mhm.
jump into that. Sealed product is another thing that a lot of people will probably tell you is more investable than even raw cards. That is true most of the time. There's some raw cards that, like, I prefer investing in cards instead of sealed boxes personally because that's what I enjoy more. I get more joy out of cards than sealed product. However, sealed product is very important, something that you can really jump into. Noticing which sets are going to be popular, like today, the Unbroken Bonds. I talked about Cosmic Eclipse Wednesday. They have Charizards in them. That's a big thing. Anything with like big popular chase cards that were good sets. Sealed product is a great investment that you're probably going to get a bigger return on. Like it's a safer bet. Modern is always a little weird because they could turn around and reprint it any time. We just saw it with Ultra Prism. We've seen it with Hidden Fates several times.
Yep.
Now, however, even with Hidden Fates, that's the most popular modern set of all time. The sealed stuff from that, mainly like the Great Ball collections and Ultra Balls and the premium collections and ETBs, are going to hold more value than the 10s that they put into the ground. But like stuff like that you can keep sealed and flip later on. If you follow PokeRev, one of the biggest influencers and modern investors in Pokemon this time, he literally makes bukus of money, and I'm not hitting on. He is wildly successful, and I applaud him for this. He is making insane amount of money by buying these booster boxes that he has invested in, likely got for a good deal, and he is selling the packs individually, opening up the rarest booster boxes in the world to people by selling these sealed packs and stuff to people that he's opening. He is making a ton of money off that.
And I'm not saying it'll be the same thing 20 years from now, but I know PokeRev started back when. He used to collect sealed stuff and just collected stuff when he was a kid, back when like base set and all those things were kind of like what the sets that are out now are to us.
Yeah.
So in my head, to kind of help me think or help me with sealed stuff now, think of it as like Evolutions and Unbroken Bonds and all these sets are like our base set Jungle Fossil, right? So the kids now that are your age, when you were, whenever like base set and stuff came out, 10, 15 years from now, if the hobby is still going like it is, or if it dips, it'll come back up. I think this one will stay around for a long time. You could potentially be doing that same thing if you put in the time and effort, which is like going back to our other point, like patience is key. Right. If you're one of those people that continues to do that, who knows, 10 years from now, you may be sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars of product that you could flip or, show to the world. And you could be that day and age's, PokeRev at the time, depending.
Now, I do know PokeRev actually, he started back, he went out of the hobby and came back about 5 years ago. But for the last 5 years, he's been building up this little empire. And he just started YouTube this year. And he's like, now we're kind of seeing all that. TCA Gaming is another big one who is making crazy money off of sealed product. So can't preach that enough. Sealed product, realizing what sets, usually they have a Charizard in them. Like, that's a really big key to sealed product. Stuff like Holland Phantoms and stuff that have gold stars, and I'm talking about vintage sets, like anything that has something unique. That's why I like Cosmic Eclipse, very unique stuff to it.
I do know in our Discord recently, which people had hit on, like at this point in time in the hobby, like try to invest in X and Y stuff. It's still affordable. It's still starting to go up a little bit. Starting to see
like XY Flash Fire and Phantom Forces and stuff go up.
It's still affordable to like the mid-tier, lower level like stuff. We can still afford it.
Right.
That's kind of the era we're in right now. If you're a bigger spender and still want to invest, you can jump back a little bit.
Yeah.
But right now, I would say X and Y errors.
Oh, I've started like buying up like the Charizards from Flash Fire, the secret rare Gengar. Gengar is a really popular Pokemon that we may not have mentioned earlier. Like the secret rare Gengar from Phantom Forces. You're starting to see those sealed products go up. So I'm just trying to grab the big hits from those right now while they're still affordable, because those cards haven't necessarily caught up with the sealed product yet, but they will. Pokemon, something Hav from Mini Pokemart told me once, is the stuff that's hot in Pokemon kind of goes by eras a little bit right now. So like when I first started back at the beginning of this year and like into March and stuff, the Shinings from Neo were like the hottest things in the world. And they still are very hot, like the Shining cards. But we've kind of bounced into the EX era in the middle of me getting into this. Like the EX era cards weren't as big when I started back in like January, February. It was all about the Shining cards. So now we've kind of shifted a little to the EX era. Next, you're probably going to see like some of those, all the XY stuff and stuff like that. After that, we've seen like the rise of Gold Stars, EX era, stuff like that. And it's going to it kind of goes by eras a little bit.
Yep. Which is why we're heavily pushing on like the Evolutions big hit cards.
Yeah, grab
stuff
them
like
while you
that.
can. Well, they're cheap.
Because they are cheap, but they are going to go up. I promise you they're going to go up. Even if the market of Pokemon takes a dip, those starter Pokemon and popularity Pokemon, like the popular ones, tend to hold. They may lose some value, but they at least tend to keep it enough to kind of keep you, at least calm as far as like investing stuff.
And again, I know some people may watch this video and be like, investing in something like Pokemon is scary. Like it's Pokemon, it's a child's game and stuff. Again, I'm going to go back to something watching Gary Vee the other day. One thing he said, again, this is one of the biggest investors and young entrepreneurs in the world, said, I don't think people realize how big the IP, the intellectual property of Pokemon is. If you compared like some of today's people, like today's generation over Pokemon versus Star Wars, you would be shocked how big Pokemon is compared to stuff like Star Wars, whereas Star Wars is a lot of we grew up with Star Wars, right? But the kids behind us, they grew up with kind of new Star Wars. New Star Wars isn't as big as it was back then. So, you would be shocked at how big Pokemon is compared to stuff like Star Wars. It's much closer than you would be. Star Wars is still probably more popular, but you get what I'm saying. It's much closer than you would think. And so Pokemon has been around for 25 years now. It's not going anywhere, at least not anytime soon.
Nope.
So to those of you that may be watching this and saying, but you're kind of rolling your eyes and saying it's Pokemon. When I first started this, the guys at my work were literally like, dude, why are you like doing Pokemon cards? Like, really? Like, is that not old? I'm like, and then I start showing them how much money I've made on eBay and stuff like that. And now they don't, like, literally, I have my boss texting me saying, hey, if you want to go in on something, let me know. I don't know a lot about it, but I believe you now.
Like, my wife kind of looked at me and laughed, and she's like, hey, you know what? If you want to relive your childhood, that's fine. I'll support it. Kind of just like joking with me. And then she started seeing like what is happening. Like, hey, by the way, those cards that I got, this is what happened with them. And she's like, oh, she's like, where are you? Like, why are you getting all this stuff? Like, what? No, it's because it's a very investable and profitable thing if you do it the right way. And a lot of people are invested in it. And it's a very good, healthy community right now.
When I first started this, my mom was kind of questioning some of my life decisions with some of it a little bit. But I currently live with her until I get married next month. And I walked out the door the other day and was like, hey, I'm going to ship this $600 card I just sold. And she was like, what? Like, it's a very healthy and profitable hobby right now if you do it the right way.
I'll tell my wife, like, hey, I need to mail this off. I just sold it for this much. And she's like, what are you talking about? It's literally a piece of cardboard that you have now wrapped in plastic and put it in a box. And somebody paid you that much for it. And I'm like, yes.
I literally told my fiance, I showed her the other day, like, my few PSA cards that I sold literally paid for our investment in Apple stock earlier this week. And I was like, hey, look how I paid for our investment in Apple. Was with part of my investment for Pokemon.
No money out of your own pocket.
Right.
It's great. It's a cool thing. I was able, so my wife's big into like doing like arts and craft type stuff. She's into like cricketing. I was able to a couple months ago sell some of my cards, and I bought her a brand new computer.
That's awesome.
To do her stuff with it. She's like, how did you do this? Like, did you just spend like our money to get me this? And I'm like, no, like I was investing in Pokemon cards and made a little extra cash and knew you needed something, so I got it. So it's cool if you put the time and effort in it long term, and then you start to see the benefits of it. It's great.
So that's kind of going to wrap up kind of what we're talking about today, guys. Just we wanted to touch on some of this a little, and we could seriously sit here and talk about this all day. So if you have more questions, like both of us are on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on our Discord description below. Like, please go join that. We are happy to answer any of your questions that you may have. Feel free to reach out to us if it takes us a little bit.
Even if it's not Pokemon related,
yeah,
like reach out to us. We have. If we don't know it, we probably know someone that may know it, or at least we'll point you in the right direction.
Yeah. So we're here for the community. Like I say, if it takes us a little bit, like just bear with us or anything, but we will get back to you about questions and stuff. So please don't hesitate to do that, because we could sit here and make this a 5-hour video if we wanted to, but we're not going to do that.
For the few of you that have stuck around this long, thank you.
Yes. So again, please this is about investing, not collecting. You have to kind of separate the two a little bit. So this is about literally making Pokemon cards profitable in 2020 is basically what this is. So again, I kind of want to close this conversation with, again, what Gary Vee said, like today's entrepreneurs are going to be the ones who can learn how to flip a shiny piece of cardboard and make an extra $1,000 a month. And I promise you can do that with this hobby if you take the time to learn and really be smart about what you're buying and stuff and timely things. So one more time, Austin, plug your give up for charity.
Trade up challenge for charity. Current value 165. I am on trade number 2 of 10. 10th card will be auctioned off and given to the charity that is here in my town. I will disclose that closer to the 10th trade. So hit me up if you are interested on Instagram. Also, I'm doing a 500 follower giveaway. Once I am about 100 followers out, I think I'm sitting at like 350. 500 followers out, we're going to do a huge giveaway on my Instagram. So stay tuned. Check it out. You will only know if you're following.
Yep. All right. So thank you so much, guys. Again, reach out to us if you have any questions, anything like that. Thank you so much for watching the Gold Star Podcast. We love you guys, and we will catch you on the next one. Later.
Peace out.